Hey guys, welcome to Essential Oils and Cooking. I can't remember what I called the class. I'm going to do really basic today. Kyle is going to watch in case people join online so that I can't watch everything at once. So I'm going to share my screen really quick, and we're just going to kind of talk about the different methods of using essential oils in cooking. So one of the easiest, excuse me, is the toothpick method. I'm going to put some On Guard on my hands before we go too far. I did wash my hands, but then I've been touching stuff down here. So the toothpick method is you take a toothpick, and then you're either just going to dip it right into the essential oil, or you're going to swirl it around in the essential oil. Dipping it clearly gives less. Swirling it, you're getting a little bit more. Sometimes, especially in the recipe we're doing tonight, I'm going to do the double dip and not double dip as in once and then again. I'm going to dip one end, turn it over, and dip the other. So I'll demonstrate that a little bit more in depth as we do the cheese ball. So then there's either the drop method or a half drop. If you need a half drop, I forgot to bring down something to show you guys that, but you drop it into a spoon, and then you take a knife and dip the knife in and then use it. That gives you a half drop. Or you could also use your little dram bottles, and they are a half drop. So that's another option. So you can substitute any herbs that come in the essential oils that have the supplemental nutrition facts on the back. One you can't substitute is wintergreen. Wintergreen is not for consumption, so you cannot use that internally. Forgot to show you guys. I don't know if you guys can see the supplemental facts on there, but it's on the bottle there. doTerra always labels their bottles that show you either the supplemental facts, or it will say for topical and aromatic use only. So
stop sharing your screen so we can see the supplemental facts.
Oh, so sorry. We try that again. Can you see them now?
Yeah.
So they will have the supplemental facts if they can be taken internally. So we are going to make, and I hope you can see this. I know my lighting is weird. It is a orange chocolate cheese ball. So what we are using for that is the doTerra wild orange. I pre-weighed my mascarpone cheese. I will post these recipes in my beyondfoodisart.com website, and also in the event for this class, so you can go and get the recipes. But it's 8 ounces of mascarpone cheese, and there we go. There's my mascarpone cheese in there. Then it is 8 ounces of cream cheese. I like to use a fork when I'm making cheese balls. You can also use wire whisks, or your actual hand mixers work well. It's just a hand mixer would be a little noisy and a little distracting in trying to teach a class. And so then it is a tablespoon of honey. One of our doTerra team members actually has her own bees, and this is honey from her hive. So it is unpasteurized, and that's what I love to use if I can get my hands on it. So I pre-measured everything to make it easy. Obviously, honey is never easy. So then with this cheese ball, you want to mix in the honey and the cheeses and the essential oils together. So for this recipe, and it's kind of up to your taste, I like 25 drops. Others say that was a little strong, but that's how I like it. So I put on the recipe 20 to 25 drops. So we're just going to kind of drop that in. And okay, that one got 26 because it was coming out a little fast. Sorry. Anyways, then you're just going to take the fork and you are going to blend this together until it's smooth. So while I'm blending this together, just wanted to talk about a couple other things when cooking with essential oils. You want to make sure that you are using either metal, ceramic, or glass, and that you are using metal or I guess just mostly metal. I was like, metal utensils when stirring, because the purity of essential oils, they will eat through plastic. And I haven't seen a definitive answer on if it's going to go through the silicone. Now you will see me quickly use a spatula at the very end to put this onto the plastic wrap. I have not had any problems once it's mixed into the cheese balls of it breaking down the ceramic, or not the ceramic, the plastic wrap, because it's obviously your essential oil ratio to essential oil to the cheese mixture is a lot different. So I don't know if you can see that. It's all pretty much smooth.
Ooh, that's a good picture.
That was a good one. I'm like, I can't tell. Then it is 6 ounces of mini chocolate chips. Okay, Megan, do you want to come help me with some saran wrap since I'm not great at that? Please. Thank you. So then you just fold in the mini chocolate chips. Now, these cheese balls need to be prepared 12 to 24 hours ahead of time. The essential oils do take a little bit of time to permeate the entire flavor and give you a more consistent flavored cheese ball. So I start to form it into a ball, and I don't know if you can tell that or not, with the fork, just trying to form it into a ball. Yeah, do a T for the plastic wrap. Can you bring it over to me though? Yeah. And then at the very end, after I get it onto it, she's gonna get the saran wrap for me. Then we're gonna plop it onto the saran wrap, and then I will use a plastic spatula really quick to make sure I get the rest of the bowl clean. Or you can just go ahead and grab, you know, your favorite cracker and have a taste instead. So for this cheese ball, we like using vanilla wafers, graham crackers, and also ginger snaps. So I like to make kind of like a T with my plastic wrap just so that I get better coverage. So, whoops. Well, my ball didn't say nice and pretty, but the nice thing is cheese balls are forgiving, and most people aren't paying attention to what it looks like because it gets eaten pretty quickly. So this is one that we like to do with desserts. Then the other cheese ball is more savory. So that one is more of like a, you know what? I think I'm just gonna set that aside and not worry about it. So once you are putting the ceramic, I keep saying ceramic, plastic wrap, you can form it into a better ball at that point and stick it in the fridge for that 12 to 24 hours. Makes, will you set that in the fridge? Thank you. Okay, so that was a quick and dirty, you know, way to show you the drop method. The drop method, you are just taking the oils and simply dropping it into the recipe. If you are cooking the recipe, you the essential oils seem to get a little more strong or potent, so you don't want the flavor to be overpowering when you're dropping it in. When you're first starting, I recommend, you know, using this one is the Modern Essentials Living Cookbook. doTerra has recipes that they put in their Living magazine. This one, it has a sweet and savory butter recipe, and I haven't even looked at it, to be honest. But I do like to go to their blog and get different recipes. So in here is several different recipes, like a spicy lime, rosemary lemon, cheese walnut, So just making different, ooh, butter pecan butter. I think I might have to try that one. Anyway, so every magazine has a recipe or two in it from doTerra. So to start with, make sure you're using recipes that have been tried until you get a little bit more familiar with how to use the essential oils. Drop method, I use essential oils in my fudge. I do use the drop method. Citrus oils, you generally need more. The spices and the like cinnamon and clove, err on the side of caution. Peppermint, spearmint, you want to do those a little bit lighter because they are so strong and potent that they can overpower your dish if you're not careful. So when in doubt, refer to a recipe or call somebody who's a little bit more familiar with using essential oils in their cooking. doTerra does also offer information on their website on how to use essential oils, like how to change for spices, for the dried spices, and how to, for zesting, like the difference of using the zest of a citrus fruit like lemon or orange versus using the essential oils. So just some other things there. Okay, so the next cheese ball that we're gonna do is the ham and herb cheese ball. And again, I have my mascarpone cheese in my bowl. Then it is, so 8 ounces of mascarpone cheese, 8 ounces of cream cheese. Now, most traditional cheese balls are cream cheese, to be honest, but I really have enjoyed using half mascarpone cheese and half cream cheese. And the reason for that is the mascarpone cheese is a smoother texture. It is basically Italian cream cheese. And it just makes for a more even, smooth texture. All right, make sure you share that. Don't just grab the ground peppers and stuff and share. So I like to do half and half mascarpone and cream cheese. But if you can't find mascarpone in your area, feel free to just use 16 ounces of cream cheese. So to start with, I like to just kind of mix those together. Then we are going to use dill and basil. And for both of these, I am going to use the toothpick method. And on the actual recipe, it says 1 to 2 drops. That's based on your flavor choice. I generally do 1, and then I kind of smell it to see if the balance is right between the garlic and the onion and the ham and the salt and the essential oils. So typically I start with just 1 drop. So I put it in there, tip my bottle. That gives me the essential oil on the toothpick. Then I just run the toothpick back and forth through, I know that's really hard, through the cheese just to kind of get it all in there. And then I will go to my next oil and do the same thing. So for this recipe, we're doing 1 drop of basil and 1 drop of dill. But if you like a stronger dill flavor or you like a stronger basil flavor, feel free to do that twice. And you can just use both sides of the toothpick, kind of like I talked about earlier. So we mix that in, make sure that it gets all through the cream cheese. If you want, you can add food coloring to your cheese balls. Like the orange one, you could add orange. This one, you could add a little bit of green food coloring if you want, but I don't find that it's necessary. Oh, I forgot to show you what this one looks like. And maybe you can't even see it. There you go. So once I've got that stirred in, then it calls for a half a teaspoon of minced garlic. All right, then 2 teaspoons of chopped green onion. Some people like chives instead of green onion, you can do that. Then it's 4 slices of deli ham, and I chop that up. and then a pinch of salt. And I like to use Himalayan sea salt. And then you just kind of fold that together. And then you do the same thing that we did with the orange cheese ball. You're gonna wrap it in saran wrap and put it in the fridge for 12 to 24 hours. So those are just some quick tips and ways to use essential oils in your cooking. Clearly I chose cheese balls because it was easy to show you some techniques without having to actually bake something and wait for a while. So unfortunately, we don't have smell-o-vision and we don't have ways to share, because clearly I made my recipes ahead of time so that those who are here in attendance at class can enjoy them and give them a try. But again, my food blog is beyondfoodisart.com, and on there is an entire section for cooking with essential oils. I'm going to show that to you really quick, and it's a really quick class tonight. So Beyond Food is Art, Cooking and Baking with Essential Oils. So down here is basic information about using the essential oils with cooking. Some of the things. It's not sharing? All right, let's try that again. Thanks, Kyle, for catching that.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Is it sharing now?
Yes.
Okay, so on my blog, oops, now I'm having scrolling issues. Sorry, guys. On the blog is information on cooking, baking, and candy making. Some ideas of what the oils are good for, like basil is one of those ones that's good. I'm gonna do it later. Okay, thank you. Basil is one we use tonight in the cheese balls, and but it's good in spaghetti sauces, in soups, different things like that. Bergamot is good for teas, for if you're doing a blend of citrus stuff on its own. Bergamot really is a little bit bitter, just so you're aware. Cilantro, obviously, anything that you would use cilantro herb for, you can use in the essential oil for. Cinnamon for baking or teas or steamers. Anyways, so there's that information. Then what we talked about earlier, the different methods and how to use the essential oils in your cooking, how to substitute for herbs, how to substitute for citrus oils, or not citrus oils, but the citrus, like the zest or lemon extracts. Then here are the recipes that I've done tonight. So we did the ham and herb cheese ball and the chocolate orange cheese ball. I have my pumpkin muffins, my pumpkin chocolate chip cookies, pumpkin squares, because clearly October is pumpkin month, and my pumpkin fudge that I do. Just so you guys know, that's the only fudge recipe that I have ever shared, and I have over 30 flavors of fudge. So then the Nanaimo bars, which are a Canadian dessert, and more. But if you continue to scroll down, there's a PDF from doTerra about cooking with essential oils that you can download. And then there's also some different recipes that doTerra has had on their blog. So there's some great information there. And I will, again, I'll post this in the event so you can come back and look at. And you can always find it at beyondfoodisart.com. So was there, any questions? I twisted a toothpick into basil essential oil tonight and added it to tomato soup. Your husband preferred it without. Awesome. So the twisted method gives you a little bit more of the essential oil in, and sometimes what can happen is the essential oils are so strong, and when you cook them as well, they intensify. So always the very first time I'm making a recipe with them, and it comes to the herbs and the essential oils that are herbs, I generally just do the drop toothpick method, where I drop it in and just drop it in quickly and pull it out. I did find a recipe that said, especially for spaghetti sauce, to drop it in, and it called for 2 drops. Well, that was overpowering. So again, err on the side of caution when you first start using them, because they are so potent that it can it can kind of mess up an entire recipe if you're not careful. So if there's not any more questions, I am going to stop the recording, and then we can kind of take any questions, or we can just wrap it up. But thanks for joining us tonight.